Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. This week we are working on this adorable adoption cake. Now I can't take credit for this design, all I did was change the colour scheme and try to make it a bit more modern. The original, which was provided to me by the client, was made by Pink Coinsy over on Cake Central. So firstly, I've got my 5-inch and 7-inch round cakes ready to go. I've got tutorials on how to make ganache, how to apply ganache, and how to get sharp edges on your sugar paste, and they're always linked in the description box below. You'll want to watch these to get up to speed to this point. I'm then ready to stack my 5-inch cake on top, and I do this by using at least one more dowel below it. So if it's a 5-inch cake, I'll be using 6 dowels. One in the centre and then the others equally placed in a circle around it. You just want to make sure you cut all your dowels the same height so it keeps your cake level. You'll see they're just below the surface of the paste. I then stick my teas together with a little bit of melted ganache and I centre my cake before it sets. To cut out the message, I'm using Tappets, and this is where your pasta machine is going to come in really handy. This thinner sheet has been run through the pasta machine and you can see it's a nice uniformed thickness all the way through and it's nice and thin. You can pick pasta machines up for as little as £20 and I highly recommend grabbing one. I'm then just cutting them into strips to make it easier to cut out my letters, but I do have a full tutorial going right into depth on how to use these tappets because there is a secret to it. It's mainly making sure that your paste is thin enough and that it's been left to set a little bit before trying to flick them out. I'll leave that tutorial link below, and the message here is, we found our missing piece. Whilst those set up, we're going to cover the board using the toilet seat method, and yes, again, you'll always find it in the description box. It just neatens up the bottom of your cake and covers and finishes your board off nicely. I'm not really a big fan of bare boards. Next up, I picked up this handy cutter from PME, which cuts multiple jigsaw pieces at one time. I do have a jigsaw cutter, but it only does one at a time. With this, I can cut multiple and make the job far quicker. I'm just cutting out my pieces from this blue with a little bit of Tylo added to help them keep the shape. Just gently pop the shapes out and most will be nicely clean cut, but if you do get the odd one like this with a jagged edge, all you have to do is either cut it off with a scalpel or tap those ragged edges down. Most cake decorators I know would just leave it like this, but this is what's going to set you apart from others, is just taking that extra time to clean up those rough pieces, which is going to give you an overall neater finish. You can also buy plaque cutters such as this one, and it cuts out really nice shapes. The problem is what if your letters just don't fit inside that shape? You can easily create your own. I folded some greaseproof paper in half and drawn on a fancy shape onto half of it, so that when you cut it out it will open up into a symmetrical Baroque frame shape. I made sure to draw it big enough so that my letters would fit inside. And the good thing about this is that you can create frames in any size you need. I'm just adding some veg fat to the back of my template to stick it to my paste so it doesn't move, and then I'm following the edges with my scalpel to cut it out until you have your finished frame. So yes, cutters are handy, but sometimes custom ones are far less restrictive. You can see I have all my pieces assembled, lots of jigsaw pieces in various greens and blues, my 2 plaques and my letters. I highly recommend these foam pads that help your paste set from the top and underneath. You then want to line up your letters inside your frames and stick them down with water. As you can see, there's more space at the bottom of this one once my letters are on. And here we have our letters, which fits nicely into our custom frame. I'm then sticking these down onto some white paste with water and just cutting around them to create another frame. You can of course just make another template that's slightly larger, I just find this way quicker. And then painting these frames with some silver lustre. This is one of Faye's silvers mixed with lemon extract, and you'll find a full list of everything I use in the description box. I've also done a couple of the jigsaw pieces too. And now it's time to assemble. We're sticking one of the plaques on the top, and the larger one on the bottom, and then filling in the gaps with all our jigsaw pieces, just alternating the shapes and colours, overlapping some, and just going to town on sticking them everywhere. And that's it, a really lovely message for anybody adopting, be that a child or an animal. I hope you find something useful from this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye guys.